Welcome back to Jungle Gap. Today we're back with another Inside the Mind of a Challenger Jungler, where I'm going to be breaking down a Zyra jungle game I played during my Challenger climb. Now, the concepts I'll be diving into can be applied to all other champions with similar identities such as Udyr, Lilia, Brand, Nocturne, whose strength is to full clear and play on your timer or on your spare tempo. If you don't play those champions, this video is still for you, as I'll be explaining all the fundamentals and mentality that you should have to carry your solo queue games. In this review, I'm going to be referring to each time I base as a round. This concept is important, especially for the type of champions, as it ensures you stay on tempo and gives your game some structure. What's up everyone, I'm Coach Leo, also known as Babip. I've been a professional jungler for the past 6 years, played at Worlds 4 times, and have plenty of coaching experience. If you're interested in fast-tracking your learning and achieving your desired rank, book a private coaching session or join the community by heading over to the Jungle Gap Discord, which will be in the description below. Okay, so jumping into the game now. The first thing I want to talk about is, I want you guys to realize that the game begins when all 10 champions get locked in. So when all 10 champs get locked in, you also need to lock in yourself. Okay, close all the distractions. If it means stop screen sharing with your friends and letting those distractions get to you, that's what you must do, and that's what you kind of have to. That's what you have to do if you want a burning desire to actually climb. Okay, so that's the first thing. Game starts at champ select. Now, usually inside the mind of a challenger jungler, we go through the 3-step checklist, which is win cons, which is where can I get a kill, and what the jungle matchup is, right? However, for this video in particular, recently it's come to my attention that sometimes this checklist is still a bit too long, and I think it's more, it's directed more towards higher elo to consider these things and have this holistic approach. So for this video, I just want to focus on 2 questions, right? What is my champion identity? And where can I get a kill? So these are the 2 most important things that you want to ask yourself in the pregame checklist, in the pregame, what you're going to plan to do. And remember, when you're planning what you want to do, you want to avoid kind of, something else I've recently noticed is that when I'm coaching players, they say, oh, I think I could help this lane. I think I could help mid. Bot lane seems like I could help. Avoid this help word, okay? Avoid it at all costs. Because you always want to do what is best for you, okay? So we always want to play towards lanes or things that can give us, we want to use our tempo on something that is beneficial to us, okay? That's the most important thing. So talking about champion identity really quick. As Zyra, as Brand, as Lilia, Nocturne, whatever it is, right? The whole idea is that you want to abuse your strengths. Okay, so what are our strengths? Farming really quickly, taking objectives, playing when we have our big cooldowns, like a Lilia ult, like a Zyra ult, like a Nocturne ult, right? So this is our champion identity. We want to play on our timer. And what that means is that it doesn't mean you cannot level 3 gank. It doesn't mean that you have to lock yourself into a full clear. I'm not saying that. It's just if we compare the 2 champions that we have on the screen right now, Rek'Sai and Zyra, okay? On one hand, Zyra's weakness is she's an immobile mage, right? So it makes sense that you're most likely going to full clear and make sure you're never in a compromised position where you have to be burning flash, where you have to make the game very volatile. She doesn't like that. Whereas Rek'Sai, on the other hand, right? Very, very strong level 3 gank. Wants the game to be volatile to make up for the fact that Rek'Sai has a really, really strong early game. And Rek'Sai doesn't want, again, you can full clear as Rek'Sai. I'm not saying that this is, you do this or you do that. There's no formula here, right? Just talking about champion identities and what their strengths are. Rek'Sai doesn't really want the game to be a full clear off against Zyra, right? Because that's favoring the Zyra. So you can kind of suspect that a champion like Rek'Sai will go for level 3 ganks, try and snowball the game. However, for us, we want to keep the game very, very structured. We want to think about our tempo. And we want to path towards the lane that's most likely for us to get a kill, to clean up a quick kill after our full clear. So if we run through it really quick this game, and you can do this within 20 seconds, right? You just run through the lanes. The 3 things I want you to think about is, does the enemy champion have mobility, escape tools, etc.? Is the lane, do you think it's going to be very volatile, right? So if someone has ignite, for example, this is something that gives it away that it may be volatile because they're taking ignite. However, things like a Doran's shield is saying that Fiora wants to kind of just scale in the lane, okay? So if we run through it, top lane, Rengar has a lot of mobility, hard to kill. Fiora has no gank setup. It may be volatile, but, something that I, in this game, decided not to path towards because I think there's better chances elsewhere. Okay, mid, Galio, very, very good mobility. You can look at summoner spells, Flash and Ghost. Talia, not much gank setup. I don't really even think it's going to be volatile, so mid lane is most likely not an area I want to look either. Now, bot lane. We have Ashe and Caitlyn versus Leona and Taric. So this lane is going to be, I think, the lane. And, as 70-80% of other games, you do generally path to bot. But again, when we're talking about League and fundamentals, you're not looking for a formula. You're looking to understand the game. So the reason why we path the bot this game is not because we always want to path the bot, even though that's kind of the meta of what it is. The reason we want to path the bot is because we think it's the best chance for us to get a kill. Now, if this was Seraphine versus Soraka and top lane was Exhaust, Ignite, Pantheon versus Exhaust, Ignite, Olaf, you would want to path towards top because that's the lane that's most likely you could potentially get a kill. Okay, so now that we've been through that, let's move on to the game now and talk about some of the fundamentals that we're thinking about. Okay, so now we know Weakside wants to try and do something. It is generally good to try and get a ward. However, in this game, getting a ward here, which I usually recommend, or, finding out where he starts using your trinket, it's kind of hard this game. Ashe is very strong level 1. If I walk in here, I might just pass away. Leona is also very strong. Galio is very strong. If I run into top side, I'm also versing a Rengar. So this game, if you can't get a ward, just don't, okay? It's fine. And also Zara, I kind of need to be on my buff, right, to get the ceilings out. So this is kind of specific to her. So things to think about in your first round. Where can I get a kill? What does my champion want to do? Very important. I want to full clear to bot and see if I can clean up anything bot. That's my initial thoughts right now in the game. I get a good ward here on the bot side, which is nice for me. So I know that, I'm safe to kind of do this full clear and he's not, done one camp and is taking my camps right now. Something about champion mastery is, when you're picking up a new champion, as I am with Zyra, before I played games, I kind of studied the clear. I looked at, examples of how to clear as this champion. Still not the best at it, but this is something that's important that you know how to clear quickly, especially on these champions that excel and have their strength as clearing, with clearing camps. Next fundamental, taking little looks and updating yourself, having some map awareness. Even though, the likelihood of me ganking mid is very, very slim here, I just want to update myself on what's happening in the lanes. I want to have an informed decision because information is everything. Information changes your decisions. Information is the most important thing, and that's why having some good awareness is important. Because let's say, for example, we know that also Galio has used a ward here, right? Just to put an example, we know Galio has used a ward here. If he was, for example, literally one health here, right? And he's hugging the bot side, and I know his ward is here, of course, I will get off my full clear to come and pick up the free kill. Of course, in this game, nothing's happening. So we don't want to try and waste any time going for any ganks. Very, very important that we only go for ganks if it's guaranteed. And, guaranteed ganks as Zyra is not very high because we don't really offer much in a gank. Whereas ganking as Weakside, the chances of killing someone is much higher just because of the early strength difference. So hopefully this, kind of makes sense of the differences in identities because I think that's an important topic for this video. Okay, so I have a little pan bot. Doesn't look very good. Taric is level 1. I don't want to waste my time trying to gank bot. Just keep full clearing. One little mistake here I did do is I needed to use my trinket now for some safety. Now, nothing happens in the game. However, you could see here how this is a mistake for me. If Rek'Sai had done his 3 camps and is sitting here right now with Galio walking in and tunneling over this wall, I'm pretty much dead. So I do need to recognize here. This is why information is so important. I need to recognize here that Galio is moving into my bot side. Something is up. Something could be up. So I need to just put a ward somewhere for my safety and kind of take this camp very safely. Luckily, in this game, nothing happened. But this could have been very, very devastating for me. So, when you're playing these full clearing champions, the reason why knowing how to clear with them is important is because you don't want to waste all of this brain power on your clear and, not consider all the information on the map. So I think that's what happened to me here. I was just too focused on my full clear. Now, noticing Galio is in here. I know his what is top side. This is what I like to call spare tempo, okay? So spare tempo after you use your full clear can be used anywhere, right? You can use your spare tempo ganking bot, taking the Leona flash, ganking mid, taking Galio flash, killing a ward here, placing a trinket here. Whatever you want to do, this is your spare tempo. This is where you're trying to use the next 40 seconds, or my clear is obviously very, very quick until the scuttle spawns. But essentially, we're trying to do something on the map here, you know, until the scuttle or until our Krugs spawn, because the Krugs is going to spawn at around 4:15. And I want you to think about this timer, because this is when you should start to think about basing, okay? So if this was a standard game, I cleared down, I ganked bot, I killed the scuttle crab, and I should be thinking about basing now, because you always, you know, your Krug spawning is basically like a little thing that should be indicating when you need to base. And, you know, that's the end of your round. The new round begins when this spawns at 4:15, okay? Very important concept to keep your tempo, you know, good, to keep having good tempo. Here, we end up getting a kill. Great. Weakside, we see Weakside ganking top. Another mistake I made here was not checking his CS. You know, little bits of information like that are important, because then I'll know what he's done. Obviously, I can see he has blue and red, and he's not level 4, which means he probably skipped one of these camps. And whenever you show as a jungler ganking, you know, if I'm the one to gank mid here, I should be a little bit worried face checking anywhere. And this is the same for this Rek'Sai. He should also be a little bit worried about me, you know, face checking me. Obviously, he doesn't, you know, he's not really in threat of dying here. So I just look to chunk the Rek'Sai a little bit. Not looking to invade him after this. Why? Because Galio, you know, very, very strong. It's like we said before as well. I don't have flash either. So I don't want this game to be volatile. I don't want to, you know, invade him on his Gromp here, even though he's low. Because if Galio comes across, I'm just going to die. So I really want to stay on my kind of like race course, right? I want to value getting on my camps as soon as I can. Okay, so here, this is where it gets interesting. Because you have options here, okay? Whenever you kind of overstay, this is not one of those moments, right? But let's just say, for example, I had cleared down, I had done bot crab, and I had done top crab. And this is spawning at 4:15, remember this. This is where you have options to either base or just stay on the map and do your Krugs. Now, in this case, I valued basing, but some cases you can just, you know, if my Krugs was spawning literally right now, so say the timer was literally 4:15 right now, I wouldn't have based and I would have simply just full cleared again. But since I do have this kind of little bit of time to base, right, I choose to base. But remember, you can stay and greed and go for your second camp spawns. There's no problem doing this and just straight full clearing again. So this is also a typical path. You can full clear, run to the top crab, and then simply clear again. Champions like Udyr, champions like Lilia, champions like Zyra, they love doing this because their clear speed is already really good. You don't need this extra item. However, in this case, I buy the extra item because I had this little bit of time. I value having the 900 gold Faded Ashes rather than being on my, you know, Krugs right now. So obviously it depends what you value and what time it is and when your Krugs spawn. Okay, so that's round 1 complete. And as you can see here, I kind of know Rek'Sai's clear now. So I'm starting to spam ping. So a very important fundamental as a jungler is to communicate to your team. Now that I know what Rek'Sai is doing, I'm going to try and communicate, you know. So we go back here, right? I know he's on bot side. Very, very likely. He's likely where I'm pinging right now. So I'm communicating to my team, you know, Rek'Sai could be here. Be careful, back ping, you know, and even if your team still dies, right? Some games you'll save them. So communication is very important. And the type of communication is very important as well. You know, don't use normal pings. Use the danger pings and get them thinking, you know, even ping on their lane. Get them thinking about the fact that Rek'Sai could be there because you know it's a pretty likely outcome. Okay, and so in the second round, what am I going to do? Well, my champion, I have no flash now. So I need to play even more safe. And all I want to do again is clear the camps, look around with awareness, and wait for opportunities to present themselves because they will. An opportunity will present itself. Okay, I see Galio moving to bot. I'm pinging. My bot lane's getting engaged on. What am I going to do? It doesn't look good, right? Galio's moving first, so I'm never going to run to try and help them here. I'm going to simply keep clearing my camps. I want you to literally think when you're playing these kind of champions that you're on a race course. And it doesn't mean you need to tunnel vision again. I can't stress this enough. You still need to be watching. But now look, doesn't look like I can do dragon, right? So how am I going to use my spare tempo this round? I'm just going to go and look for the Rift Herald. Not the Rift Herald, the grubs. The grubs are spawning in 10 seconds, so I'm walking over here. Weakside went for Scuttle, and it doesn't look like he's doing dragon, right? So placing this ward, making sure we know if something, if they're going to come and contest, making sure that vision is very, very important. Now Taric is coming along here. And so a common mistake I see players make here is they don't really take the precautions when they're taking the grubs, right? So this ward is very important, and knowing where kind of your escape route is in these kinds of fights is something that, is going to, the amount of times where I see people take grubs and they're kind of just sitting in the pit, someone sneaks up on them and just like kills them. I've seen that so many times. So take the precautions you need to play the fight out how you want. All right. So right here, I'm cutting back. Weakside goes in. I'm letting them use all their engaged tools, not on me. Of course, I'm playing a mage jungle. I want to sit back and get my DPS out. So the fight is won. Other things to consider here is that obviously my Tilia also has ult. So back here, if we go back, we'll show the entire thing again, how it plays out. My Taric is moving. My Tilia has ult, so he can still fly in. So I'm very confident, when you start objectives, another thing that's important is that you either need to know that Weakside is on this dragon here to take it for free, or you need to know that you win the fight. Or you have to say like, okay, I'm just going to take one grub and then jump out. So you need to know when you start this, it's a tempo investment. Now this is my spare tempo as well, but generally you need to know that if you start an objective, you have to be willing to actually play the fight if the enemy comes, and you need to know that you kind of win the fight. So I'm kind of confident in this fight, right? It's not like I'm saying I'm 100% knowing that it's winning, but I'm confident. And so we win the fight. I end up getting the grubs. And so this is something that's interesting here, right? So last round when we were here, we based here. But now this is where, the concept of greeting comes into action. So I don't need to base here to spend this 900 gold. What I should be doing is abusing the fact that I clear incredibly quickly and extend my round, right? I'm extending here. I'm just going to do another full clear here because although that round was over, right? And usually on the first round I based and I went back to my topside camps because I have something to do, because my red buff is here and after my red buff, my Krugs will spawn. It's a really, really good idea and a good fundamental to have to actually greed. And this is what a lot of, what I think greeting from my experience and from coaching for a while now is that greeting is something that obviously you need to know when to do it. But it's something that I always see, when you see challenger players smurfing, especially in lower elos, they always greed. They always min-max the most out of the game. Now, important here, we spam ping Weakside, right? But we're not actually going to go there. Why is that? Okay, we're sitting on 1300. Pathing here, obviously, we could counter the dive, right? But if they don't dive here, obviously we also could base. But I'm kind of confident here, honestly, in this Fiora. I'm kind of thinking, okay, I don't really think this dive is possible for them either. So I'm going to use the fact that Weakside is diving top. And what am I going to do here? Am I going to continue doing my normal full clear? All right. So when Weakside shows top, immediately, I'm sprinting into his bot side. I'm thinking, okay, Fiora, you got that. Even if you die, I'm going to get so much here back. And I was pretty confident in Fiora actually trading 1-for-1. And this is exactly what you're wanting to do as well when you're playing these full clearing junglers. Abuse your clear speed. Clear it all, right? Let the Weakside waste his time, or not waste his time, but let the Weakside do this. That's his win condition, right? His is to kind of force those plays, try and snowball early. I'm just going to do my own thing here. And so I'm really maximizing everything. I want to take everything. I want to take it to the max. And mind you, I'm sitting on 1600 gold here. And still, I'm looking to dragon. No, okay, bot lane's fighting. So remember as well, I always wanted to path around bot. So this makes even more sense, right? I always want to be around, ideally, this side of the map. So you can consider these my weak side camps. These are my strong side. I always want to start my round with the weak side camps. Clear my weak side. Okay, Rek'Sai shows top. Okay, Rek'Sai shows here. Okay, Rek'Sai's dead. Okay, go on this side. Skip these camps. Work from back to front. What's the best thing I can take here? The camps. Then the best thing is the bot lane gank, but that wasn't available then. Camps, bot gank, then dragon. Okay, so what do I do here? The bot side's the side that I thought was going to be volatile, the side that is most likely I can get kills. So I'm always pathing towards bot. Now they're fighting. Make sure you are aware here. Make sure you don't go straight to the dragon like I'm pinging to do. Have a look at the map. They're fighting. Take consideration in the way that I walk here, right? He saw me for a second there, but, trying to path as well the right way to cut them off. I didn't run straight like this, right? I didn't run in a straight line like this. I'm trying to have this path instead to abuse Fog of War here. And so I end up just committing the flash here. My ult, I'm kind of ulting, so even if Ashe flashes, she's still going to be in it. And boom, we get the double kill. Huge. Now, should I dragon right now, right? This is where some people make that mistake of thinking, oh, I just killed their bot lane, right? Surely this is where I take dragon. No. You used your tempo. Remember, you used your tempo here, and here, and here. So if you didn't go for this bot gank, you take the dragon, right? So let's say for example, no fighting's happening bot, then you would take the dragon. But remember, we want to take the best thing first. And this is where League is kind of turn-based, right? If I were to do the dragon here, Leona would be coming back. Taric would be coming back. But my Caitlyn does not want to help me here, okay? My Caitlyn wants to push the wave and base. Reset, get a gold. I'm also low, right? I also want to just base. So very, very bad time to do dragon. Remember, you use your tempo in some area, means you can't take the dragon anymore. So I'm just asking my team to ward it here. And so this is that round has concluded. Next round starts. Where am I pathing? So the thing to understand here as well is that I'm asking my team to ward the dragon, but I'm never going to kind of path towards my bot side camps here. Why is that? I want to get my weak side camps down, and I want to spend all the time on the strong side. The only time I'll actually path towards the bot side here straight away is if Rek'Sai's on dragon, or if he's trying to take my camps. Then I'll run straight here and defend. But I want to keep this flow of the game. I want to keep it like this. I want to use all my time bot side. So I'm starting to path mid here because I'm kind of predicting, okay, maybe they go dragon. No, they don't. Okay, so I go to my Krugs. And knowing when your Krugs spawn, I was a little bit early here, but I want to keep this cycle going. I want to keep this full clear going. This is how you're going to have 10 CS per minute. And this is how you're going to have a really structured game. Okay. So we're pathing down again. We want to use all our spare tempo on the bot side. We're looking with our map. We're waiting. Opportunity yet? No. No opportunity yet. Keep farming. Rek'Sai shows top again. What does that mean? Skip the camps. Bot's fighting. 2 reasons why. Skip the camps. Go bot. Okay. They already kill, right? I know Ashe has no flash, but I'm just going to do the dragon now. I think potentially there was a dive here. Let's see. No, he just died. Okay, that's why I changed my direction. Okay, so he died. So now we go for the dragon. You could consider running to the Raptors here, but I just, sometimes you just have to think, okay, what am I closest to? So if I was like running like this way, and I'm close to the Raptors, then I'm going to take them, right? You always have to think about efficiency. I'm just close to the dragon here, so I'm just going to do the dragon. And then if the Raptors are kind of still up here, we look here. Some fighting happened. Rek'Sai died here. As we can see, he's going on mid. He dies. We have a little fight here still. This is always going to be a favorable fight. Obviously, it's going to be 3v2, and we really want to fight for these Raptors still. I get my reward of the Raptors. Here, my Krugs are not spawning yet, right? So I have still some spare time. I'm always thinking about the Krug spawn. And having that 2 minute, I mean, you can use the timers if you want, but having that Krug spawn in the back of your mind is your way to evaluate your own tempo. When those are spawning, you want to be pathing there unless you're going to get something way more. So, the only time where you don't want to path towards those Krugs when they spawn and reset your round and have good tempo is if you're going to get something that's worth more than the Krugs and the Raptors and kind of having your, and keeping your good tempo. You need something way more, which is like kills. Maybe it can be dragon. It's very, you can argue what is worth staying, right? Some people will have different opinions on that. So here, I think I see an opportunity, right? I think, I'm thinking this is a good play because Ashe has no flash. there's a minion wave here. There's plenty of signs that are saying that this is a good play, but it doesn't work. And this is kind of just a learning thing. They have a ward, right? So as soon as he has a ward here, he has tier 2 boots. I can't catch him with tier 1 boots. So what I should be thinking of doing here, don't chase, right? It's low percentage. My idea, I think, was good. Obviously, if he has a ward, I just need a base here. So I use a little bit of my tempo. Maybe I could have done Gromp instead. And so you see, even myself, I still, and this is something you'll always be working on. You'll always be working on the opportunities that are on the map. Okay, so now I end up basing. I'm telling my team, right? This is also very important. You tell your team what you're doing. Tell this guy I'm basing. I'm not going to stay here. I really don't want to stay here. Why? Guess what? Guess what time it is? It's time to go for those Krugs again. So same cycle again. Kind of checking my camps here because I was a little bit late this time, right? And we don't see Weakside anywhere. So I'm thinking, where is he? Look at my pings. Look at my pings. Where is he? Where is he? Right? I'm pinging that they had a ward here. I know he's probably topside the Weakside. So I'm pinging, where is he? We want to find him. Okay, he didn't take the grubs either. And he ended up being bot side. And so this is interesting, right? So I can choose to kind of take the grubs here and take the camps, which is, I think, is an okay play when I was watching this game back. I think that it probably was the better play here to take the grubs and his gromp. But I was still very much so wanting, so I still don't think this is a bad play from me to continue to par the round bot. But unfortunately they died. So then I take the scuttle and, I see here, right? Again, with my camera control, I see looks like maybe an opportunity, right? So because I made the decision here to par towards bot side, I'm thinking about cleaning up this wave now. I'm thinking about cleaning up these camps. However, I think maybe they stay for a plate here, right? There's still 1 minute on plating. So, as I'm saying, the structure, the pathing is very important and making decisions off that. But you can also look for little impactful, X factor plays here like this. So I'm waiting to see if this Ashe hits the tower, right? I don't want to run to this wave straight away and clear it because there's a chance Ashe actually walks up here and tries to hit tower. I think, remembering this VOD, I watched it back. I kind of get timinged here, honestly. Like, I'm not sure why she's not, if she's planning to hit the tower, I'm not sure why she is now. So I ended up making the decision here to now run out. And unfortunately, I kind of just get timinged, honestly. It's kind of unlucky. Ended up going back to the camps. Now I'm doing the camps. So you see how this round was a little bit worse than the others. And that was just based on my... I got unlucky with the timing there, but it was based on my decision here to path into bot. Remember, when I'm doing the Raptors here, there's 2 decisions I can make. Take these camps and then exit to the grubs, or I can make the decision to actually join them. And the problem here was that I didn't recognize that I'm not going to be in this bot play on time, right? This bot play is kind of already over. Even though it looks like they could fight for a while, this was the mistake I made here. The play was already kind of over. Even though still, it doesn't really look like it. So you see how it can be tricky to decide how to use my tempo, right? It's kind of tricky. It's not tricky, but, still, myself included, and the best players in the world still get this wrong sometimes. So don't feel too bad if you do get it wrong. Just learn from your mistakes. And so skipping through now, when 14 minutes hits, we've entered the mid game. Okay, so what do I have to do here? I see a fight happening. This is also still kind of my spare time now. Very strong. These kind of fights are really, really nice for me. And, knowing how your champion wants to fight as well. They have a very, very dive-heavy comp, which is really great for my champion because I like when their champions are melee diving champions. Zara is really good into those champions because she has really great peel. She has really good damage to tanks. This game I am taking like cut down and haste rune. I'm going double burn with the Leandries and the torch. Chasing the Rek'Sai again, I'm always looking to play on this side. I'm always the entire game, and unless there was nothing else for me to do here, then I went the grubs that one round. But the entire game, I'm just looking to use all of my spare tempo, and I'm looking to always be farming a camp near the bot side because I always want to be quickly reacting. The difference between if all your camps are up like this, right? If you path your bot side first and you start taking camps, you're not eventually you're going to have to go and take these topside camps, right? That's why we have the weak side, strong side system. The whole point of it is so you can react to plays that happen. So let's just say, for example, I do my strong side camps. I do 1, 2. And then, I still have 3 and 4 available. But I can skip these, gank bot. Oh, I get her flash. Okay, I go back to my Gromp, and then I'm still kind of in proximity to the fight. So that's a good way to put it. You want to always be in proximity, still farming camps, but you want to be in proximity of where you think the action will be. So you can get involved, so you can get kills, so you can get fed, so you can carry the game. Okay, so some more fighting happens. I'm wanting to base, right? I am wanting to base here, but then something happens, right? Rek'Sai, I'm thinking this is, kind of fightable. I can just take the wave anyway. That would have been a very good time for me to base. Doing things like this as well, channeling your base and then canceling it is good as well, because this kind of buffers the period. If Tariq just kind of like walks away here, I can let the recall go through. So buffering your recall is also good. Then you can just cancel it if something happens. It's also a concept I kind of teach in my sessions, what really, really high-level players do. Always maximizing your tempo. Okay. So again, this looks like another round where I'm going to be overstaying. Okay, this was just, don't do stuff like this. I think I'm testing limits or something for my champion. Or using your flash aggressively like this, as Zara, it's very important that you have your flash because you have no other way of mobility. So if I ever get hit by a Leonel now, I'm just going to die, which I do think you see eventually in this VOD. So really important. I know my champion identity. I don't want to use flash like that. I want to stay with my flash. I want to stay safe. I want to sit back. I want to poke them. Okay, and now we've entered mid-game. So what do we want to do in the mid-game as farming champions? Okay, very important. So there's 2 concepts I'm going to explain here, which is uptime and downtime. And it's tempo lines as well. So look at everyone's tempo lines here, okay? This guy's here. This guy's here. Talia's here. This guy's here. Caitlyn's basing. Rengar's dead. So these tempo lines mean, to me, that this is kind of downtime for me. I don't want to run into the enemy camps here when my Caitlyn's here and my Tariq's here, okay? I want to use this time to farm my camps. So in this round, I'm going to farm my camps because my team's tempo lines are not ready yet. People are not ready on the map. All our tempo lines are all over the place, okay? This is called downtime. Farm your camps in this time. Use this time to farm all your camps. Now, I'd be a bit more greedy here because I can get away with it a little bit. But as soon as my team's tempo lines are up like this, look at the tempo lines now. I want to match these lines, which means I want to move here to this wave, to these camps. So this is what I call, this is downtime here. You see this? This is downtime, farm camps. Now my team is all ready to go, they're ready to fight. This is called uptime. Now you want to be farming, again, you want to be taking camps in proximity to this tempo line. You want to stay on this line with your team. So this is how you play mid-game as jungle. We want to walk in now. Now we want to take their camps because our team is ready here to help us, right? Beforehand, if I go back one more time, is our team ready to help us take Raptors here? No, they're not. So we don't want to run in right now. We want to use this time to just get all of our camps, which we like anyway, right? Okay, so a fight happens here. Let's see what happens. Tariq dies. We end up fighting in their camps. Good fight for us. Talia could always join the fight as well and ult. And now what do we want to do after a fight like this happens, right? We have 2 dead now. And we don't really want to keep, dying in this time as well. So if we were to die with our Fiora here, for example, okay? We don't want to die with our Fiora here. It's really important that after a fight like this that you stay alive because you're going to be able to have downtime again. So for example here, if I had, camps to do, so in this particular situation, I don't have anything to do. But if I did have camps here right now, this is now, we're back to downtime. You want to farm the camps. You want to consume the map. If I was able to get this as well, I would want to do this, farm this wave, and then clear all my camps like this. So this is, again, downtime again. And this is also where you can choose to... So what's going to happen now is you have 2 decisions. You can either base with your team right now to match this guy's tempo and this guy's tempo. So you see Talia's basing right now. So you have 2 options. Base or extend your round, just like we were doing in the early game. So you can extend here. If you think, you know what? I would rather greed, and I would rather have 3 camps than spend this 1,000. And remember, this is not incorrect. You know, a lot of coaches and stuff will tell you, oh, you should base here with your team. No, greed. Greed, 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 greed. Okay, I ended up just basing here anyway because I have nothing else to do. Oh, actually, that reminds me. You can greed for an item. You see how I needed this red buff for my Leandries. So this is a time where you definitely should greed, even though you mess up your tempo here with your team, right? So I should have based it. If I had my item here, I would have based, right? However, I needed my Leandries. I needed 1 camp. So it's okay. This is acceptable to mess up your tempo line. Now, let's do a scenario here, right? Let's just say I had, I didn't have Leandries. You know, I had 600 gold here instead. All right, let's just say that. And let's just say my Krugs and my Raptors were up. You should stay here now. Because it's not really worth basing for 600 gold. You'd rather just have these 3 camps. And then after you farm those 3 camps, you're not going to base. You're just going to stay on the map here. You're going to stay after you do the Raptors. You're going to stay on the map. And you're going to play with your team's tempo line again. So hopefully this makes sense. These concepts. Very important. You can mess up your tempo if it's for a big item. Just let your team kind of know. I didn't really let my team... Actually, no, I did. See? Pings in chat. You see what I'm doing? Let your team know. Communicate with them what you're doing. I ping here. I need 130 gold for my Leandries. Of course, I'm going to save for an extra camp. All right, next round. Look at my team's tempo line. So this is what I like to call sneaky camps. Okay, you can do a little sneaky camp because I'm playing Zara, right? Do a sneaky camp. But then as soon as this is done, we're not pathing to the wolves anymore. We're not going here. We're not going anywhere here. We're going here because we want to stay on our team's tempo line. Okay, so we walk in. The tempo lane is good. Everyone's ready to fight. The reason why this tempo lane is important is because everyone can fight here. If Talia was in base, if Tariq was here, if Fiora was here, these are really bad tempo lines. This means downtime. Now, uptime. We're all ready to go. Uptime, uptime. We want to farm camps near the fight. Getting vision control, poking them out. Fight happens. We're all here. And we fight. Okay, we'll go back to watch this fight just for some context. We end up just winning the fight, trading 1 for 1. Rengar ults. So what should we be doing now? Yeah, we're still looking for camps to farm on our team's tempo line. But in this game in particular, we are looking for the Baron, the Zyra thing. And I think I got a little bit carried away here with the Baron here because I think farming his camps were probably better. But you know, I'm trying to do the Zyra Baron because I'm fairly new to Zyra as well. So I'm kind of wanting to test it out and see how it works. Which, don't ever be afraid to lose games off testing things, okay? You don't want to test things every game. But you do want to increase your game knowledge. It's worth it. It's worth kind of testing the limitations, okay? Very unfortunate here that Baron literally wipes out my entire plant line. I don't know, this Baron, I guess, in particular can do that. So I ended up missing all my plants here. And as you'll watch... And I think this kind of concludes the review. We'll watch out this fight still. I think I could have took the Baron. And I should have just flashed out here. This was my bad kind of awareness to what happened in the fight. They're going to ease me anyway, so I was probably dead either way. We end up getting the Baron on Fiora. Bit of a disaster. Not the greatest Baron call, won't lie. This is also where you can easily throw, so you shouldn't really make those plays if you're not sure, just like taking dragons and grubs, that you're sure that it's worth your time. And I think the rest of this game is kind of, you know, same thing. I'm doing my sneaky camps here. Okay, my team is inting. Okay, so this is something worth to mention, actually. When your team is inting as well. So there's going to be games where, like, your team's tempo lane is up here, but, you know, you can't really join the fight. So you can just do your own thing, right? So I can't really realistically join my team here, okay? Whatever they do here is on them, right? This is kind of another downtime where you can use this as a distraction to do things here, okay? Don't try and run straight here and match their tempo line. Because you can't realistically join this. It's too far. So another downtime round. Just think of this as downtime. I'm always thinking about the objective. So I think this is the 3rd dragon. And remember, Dragon Soul and dragons kind of think of it as your insurance to win the game. So even if throws like this happen, like the Baron throw, the dragon is still there as kind of insurance to secure the win. Okay, so tempo lanes again. You see, I'm not going to the Raptors here, right? I'm going straight to my team here on the top side. Tempo lines. My team's ready to go here. Me going to Raptors is int. Me going to Krugs is int. I already had my downtime. Look, this is my downtime here because I can't really join them. Downtime, downtime, downtime. Take the blue. Uptime. Boom. Now we're with our team. Now we're poking. Champion identity. Zyra is played kind of as a poke champion. So going red smite, double burn is really, really nice. As you can see, the Ashe just takes a big chunk of HP. And yeah, we'll watch the rest of this game, but I think I've spoken about everything that I've wanted to in this review. As you can see here, Zyra not very good against an Ashe ult, right? So I do need, when you're playing things like Zyra, things like Lilia, you need to think what things can kill me and what my role is. So my role here is to not get hit by Leona ult and Ashe ult. I think that's the only things that can kind of kill me. Maybe Galio E and flashing. So I need to be a word I like to call, which is primed. I need to be primed to flash. I need to be primed to flash Leona ult or Ashe ult, which I was not here because I wasn't thinking about it. It's hard to react to something. You know, when you see pro players flashing abilities, it's not a reaction. It's more of a prediction because they're primed to flash, okay? Sometimes it's a reaction, but it's very rare. It's always mostly he's going to throw Ashe arrow, I'm going to flash it. So something worth considering. And this game takes us a bit longer to close out. So I'm going to kind of skip to the end. Same concepts apply. Sneaky camp. Try and play on your team's tempo line. Know what you want to do in a team fight, which is, you know, sit back and poke. And yeah, so thank you all for watching. I know I kind of rambled and maybe was repeating myself a few times, but I hope you were able to learn something from this video. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, any suggestions for future videos, and I'll see you all in the next one.